Both of these scripture passages today, I think, remind us of how hard it can be to say goodbye to a great mentor or a friend. When everything is going well, we so long for things to stay just the same forever. You know how some days you just kind of want to put a picture frame around your life and freeze time still in that one perfect moment? Even so, I think it may seem kind of clueless to us when we, of Peter, in his behavior up there on the mountaintop, the idea that he would think he could build a dwelling in order to keep that vision of Moses and Elijah and Jesus intact forever. And there's something almost comical, don't you think, about poor Elisha following his master Elijah all over Israel, kind of like a lost puppy? Each of the 3 times Elijah gives Elisha the order to stay, Elisha has the same reply: "As the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." But before we judge Peter or Elisha too harshly, I think it would help if we walk a few miles in their sandals. We need to think about how much we ourselves have loved those who have mentored us, those people who have taught us so much about life and about our faith. We need to remember how hard it can be sometimes to accept the torch when those leaders we have so admired and have gone before us want to pass it to our generation. It's very easy in those moments to feel inadequate. On this weekend's Silver Lake family retreat, we began our morning devotionals by reading a good portion of the first chapter of the Gospel according to Mark, which we've been reading since the beginning of this lectionary year in December. We started with that familiar story of John the Baptist calling and teaching Jesus and sharing with his followers the ancient teachings of that other great mentor, prophet, the prophet Isaiah. We moved through Jesus picking up John's ministry, his cousin's ministry after his arrest, and preaching the good news of God's reign of love. And we ended that section with Jesus calling and teaching the disciples to call and teach more disciples as they go forth into the world to become fishers of men. And then in prayer, having shared all of this, we gave thanks for all that we had been taught by these many mentors. And some of us had remembered some great folks, perhaps most obviously those great workplace mentors, the people we first think about when we hear that word today, those who teach on-the-job skills like how to make or fix something, how to adapt to changing business conditions, or how to manage and motivate a staff of people. We expressed gratitude for those earliest and first mentors, too, for those great teachers and coaches, especially those who taught us the subjects that we most loved. And most importantly, those who taught us how to learn and how to grow and improve, and how never to give up. We thanked God for all of those ordinary people we've known who've offered us good advice about simple things like how important it is to be honest, to take pride in our work, to admit when we're wrong, or to put back things that we borrow. We could look back and appreciate how much parents and friends and fellow church members have taught us about how to be good and loving and kind like Jesus. Things like how to set the table and offer hospitality, or how to write little notes to thank people or to cheer them up. We felt so blessed to have had mothers and grandmothers who could teach us everything from how to braid our hair to how to knit and to quilt and to crochet and to do our math homework, and who would remind us to live each day as if it might be our last, to live life to the fullest. Some of us were thankful for fathers who taught us things like how to play lacrosse or how to garden, how to help care for the baby, or how to wrap a Christmas present just right. We remembered how much we'd learned from just observing our own parents about how to be good parents, and sometimes how to be even better grandparents. Often it is our parents who teach us what is most important in life, things like remembering to spend quality time with family and worshiping God by going to church. And sometimes, as Jesus said, our very best mentors, the ones who truly do lead the way into the kingdom of heaven, those best mentors can be our children. We thanked God for sending us our children who show us how to look at the world with fresh eyes, how to be brave in trying new things, and most of all, by teaching us patience, by giving us so many opportunities to test our patience. They teach us the love of Christ by the grace they shower down upon us. So as you remember your own best teachers, you can also remember probably how you felt when you first thought of facing the world without them. It's not only hard to say goodbye, but when they're really great at what they do, it's daunting to try to think of filling their shoes. We can see how that must have been true for Elisha and for Peter when they considered following after Elijah or Jesus. As for me, I'll never forget that first Thanksgiving dinner I tried to cook. My mother tried to mentor me by long distance on the phone the fall after John and I got married. And as any good hostess will tell you, there's a lot more to having a dinner party than just following the directions on the paper. I can remember calling my mother in tears as I was stirring the gravy, begging her to tell me, "Oh Lord, how long will it take for this gravy to thicken?" And she said, "Well, honey, I don't know, you just kind of keep stirring. I'll just share with you what my mother taught me, and that is, you know it's done when it's boiled over all over the back burner and starts to smoke." Anyone else have that family recipe? It's been passed down in my family